If you're like me and you like to play games on a budget, especially retro games, then this might be your new way of playing it. So this is 128 gigabyte flash drive, and nothing special about this besides that I was gifted it. So pretty much I'm in this free besides the computer that you use to play the games. So what all you need is a flash drive. This is 128 gigs, and so depending on the size of your flash drive is how many games you can put on there. Simple as that. But you also need a computer, and it has to be a Windows computer. And depending on the specs of the computer is what games you can play with your flash drive. For example, I have a gaming computer. If I use that versus some older 20-year-old PC, it's going to be a different library of what I can play. So for example, I'm planning on keeping GameCube and PS2 and older on this because I think that's more realistic with what games that I would want to put on there for the retro side. Even if my computer could play up to Switch, PS3, whatever, I think realistically I would put retro games on this instead. So if you don't have a spare flash drive, this cost about $16 on Amazon. I'll have that linked in the description if you're interested in that. But as for the computer, I recommend something you already have so you're not putting too much money into this because again, this is a hobby and it's about having fun. So you could be like me and you're in $0 because you already owned all these things, which is USB and a computer. So if you're interested in doing this, I followed this guide by Retro Game Core, and it goes all into depths of what you need and how to get it set up on your flash drive. And in summary, you take your flash drive and you flash an image on here, and what happens is that this becomes no longer usable outside of just the gaming thing. So if you have anything important on your USB, I would recommend you move it to another safe space. But other than that, you can buy a USB to do this or use one that you already had in a drawer like me. And so whenever you flash that image on here, it pretty much becomes a portable console in a sense. So when you plug it into your computer, it'll be recognized. But also when you go to boot your computer, you can have it boot from your flash drive, and that way you are playing from that console from your USB here. Now, as for getting the games on your USB, I can't share how to do that, but I do recommend you join my Discord, and that would give you more information. Now, I've only used Batocera for this example that I'm talking about because I followed that guide that I mentioned, and so far I've had a lot of luck with it. I have not bought a wireless controller yet because I haven't had the need to, and I highly recommend that when you get into this, what I would call a hobby, you don't buy things you don't need. So if you already own something that can do the same thing, try not to buy anything else, because I watched a lot of guides on how to do this, and it was, yeah, you need a keyboard, you need a mouse, you need a wireless controller. Whenever I own those things already, I don't need to buy anything else. Especially with the space we currently have, I don't think that is wise. So I recommend if you don't have the space and you already own those items, the keyboard, the mouse, or even a wired controller like I do, like I have the PS3, I bought wired controllers for that, I can plug that into my PC. Not an issue. So if you're looking to play retro games on the budget side, definitely look into a USB option because you might be having that itch for retro games, and this is going to be the budget way to do so. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.